Okay, my title is Data and Data Management. Okay, I'm Song Hui from the Division of ICT KMA. And the first day, I presented some issue concerned with the GCPC implementation and the basic functionality of the WM Information Center, mainly focused on the data collection and producing center. So today I'm going to talk about data and data management. I think that this issue is more physical and more practically to you. So you know why I inserted the apple tree here? I think that this apple tree is really concerned with my presentation today. So what I'm saying is we can easily see the apple tree, but the problem is that who can catch the apple in a tree? So we have obligation to, we can surely can watch the apple tree and we can see the apple in a tree, but we don't have obligation to catch the apple. So we have to authorize if we want to catch the apple, get the apple. So that's what I want to say here today. So if I'm a operator and if I'm an administrator in DCPC, I have to specialize and I have to spill it and I have to define who has authority to catch the apple. That is one of my main role in if I'm an administration of DCPC. So as the first step, I'll talk about the data management overview, and secondly, we'll talk about the DCPC data management, and we'll summary, presented. Well, as the first step, you may know that those kind of three of definitions, which is the WM Resolution 40, based on the WM Congress 12, 1998, or around that. So WMO defined the data as those three. The first one is WM essential data. So you can see that WM essential data is essential. Yeah, it's essential. Okay. Okay. So the WM essential data is the essential. So the essential means that the data which is useful for the protection of life and property. This is really general concept. It's really general concept. The data protection of life and property. So one of them is the forecasting data, you know. So this data is free and unrestricted international exchange of basic meteorological data and product. So this is one of WM essential data is volume C1. The volume C1 is one of them, right? And also there's WM additional data. So sometimes this WM additional data is not free, but it's free for research and educational purpose. So WM has just essential and additional and or other data. Other data means the data which was not defined in two categories. So if the data is not essential and if the data is additional, the data is WM other data. Yep. So this is the definition of WMO, and you can find this definition in WMO web portal or the last CBS. The CBS is defined this, not last CBS, just years ago. The CBS defined, also summarized the definition again. Okay. This is okay. Excuse me. So during my presentation, I will show you some metadata. Also, the metadata issue, the covered by or a little bit covered by the Japanese colleagues. So uh, those kind of WM essential and WM additional and WM other data should be depicted, should be inserted in the metadata. So I'd like to show some example. Sorry, some example. This one. This WM other data. So okay, let me show you some example of that. This is the metadata XML file. Yes, this data is WM essential data. So this is presented depicted in metadata. So what I'm saying is, I clicked this data, the vector potential of global specific model, this data. So metadata says that this data is essential, WM essential data. So this fact is inserted in here, the metadata.
So what is the difference between WMO essential
Yeah.
and additional and what is other? What is the difference?
It's very difficult question. So I can say that definition is that based on the WM definition. But also, what I say, I've discussed with that issue with the Discord yesterday. But uh, with my private definition, with my private opinion, the WMO additional data can be distributed to the commercial sector with some the fee. I mean, it's not the free data to the commercial sector, but in my opinion, the essential data can be free, even commercial sector, because the data is essential data. Yeah.
So we have
Yeah.
some WMO essential
Mm.
data and some WMO additional data,
Yeah.
and there are some access rights to them or constraints, and there's WMO other, where we don't know exactly what the constraints are.
Mm. Data owner can define the data is if the data is essential or if the data is additional or the data is other, WM other data. The data owner can define the definition about the data.
Okay, good, thank you.
Yeah.
We can say we run our project. It's which country? Additional data.
I think the one station here from Qatar, this is essential.
Workstation.
Um,
For example, we have 20 stations.
well, I think then if we don't send it,
Yeah.
how can people get? Maybe what you can do is you can have the metadata access from them, but they are not available in the GPS. But maybe they are available from your website.
So I'd like to remind you the technical requirement for DCPC implementation. Okay. I remember that this technical specification already mentioned 2 or 3 times in this workshop. So, okay, I'll skip this technical specification. Just remind you again that the from 1 to 4, 5 to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Around the 11 technical specification, you have to fulfill this uh, technical uh, specification if we want to implement the DCPC. Okay, so just I summarized the data and data management the section in this technical requirement. So mainly those 5 items is concerned with the data and data management in the WM technical specification for DCPC. You know, the DAR, Discovery, Access, and Retrieval Catalog, is also one of the data and data management interest. And the other one is, I think this is very important issue in DCPC operation, user and role management function. So even though JISC can harvest metadata from DCPC, the ownership of the data is the role of DCPC. So if DCPC doesn't permit the data distribution, so anybody can get the data from DCPC. Now that is the main role of DCPC. So for that, the DCPC has to control user and has to make the role management function with a JISC. Also, the file downloading function is also one of the DCPC and dissemination and metadata management function. So the DCPC management function will maybe this work is mainly concerned with, deeply concerned with the DCPC cooperation. Okay. So in case of the JISC Seoul, we are very simple policy for this user and role management function. We just have 2 functions. The first one is the data will be opened to all users. So those data, first one, DAR catalog is open to all users. Even though the user is not registered or even though the user is not logged in, anybody can see the DAR catalog. Also, WM essential data, anybody can download WM essential data. So other data is open to restricted user. So, this is the main role of DCPC, is to define. So, okay, let me say again, the data management overview. This is my definition. Yeah, this is my definition, not WM definition. This is my definition. So data management is to meet the requirement for data discovery, access, and retrieval service, as well as routine collection, production, and archiving of data and product. It means that like data management to data dissemination and the user role management and user control, yeah, all of them is concerned with the data management. So the functionality is that data collection, production, and archiving, data discovery via metadata search, yeah, like that. So also user group management. So you know the difference between the authentication and authorization, you know what it is? Yeah, authentication means just, how do I say? Uh, Let me see.
Authentication is
Yeah.
when you make sure the person is the person they claim to be.
Yeah.
So when you come into the country and you say, here's Timo, and then I look at the passport to make sure it's, yes, that's Timo. And also authorization is to make sure that the person can only do what they're allowed to do. So people can get into his hotel room and but not into the other filtration.
Yeah, thank you. So authentication is just to identify somebody who is who, but authorization is different issue. That is kind of a right. Yeah, definition of right. Who can do something? Okay. You have to think of that GCPC security service. So every single GCPC has to think of that security service. So like mentioned by Timo, we have to define who has, no, we have to define who has right to, like, the authorization to download the data. Yeah. So user authentication and authorization is very important in the GCPC security service. Also, the single sign-on is one of the important things. So this means that single sign-on means, you know, what single sign-on? So how do I say? Uh, in case of JISC, if I access the JISC web portal, then uh, I found the data, but the data is in DCPC. So if I click the data, maybe the transit automatically switched to the DCPC. So in that case, if I access the DCPC again, so I don't need to log in again in DCPC web portal. So I'll show you some example. I accessed this disk Seoul, so I log in with my the ID. So I searched some data, the comes error data. As data. Yeah, this is the comms data. I request this data. Actually, this data source in DCPC, National Meteorological Satellite Center in KMA. Sorry, it's not available now. Okay, let me say again. Okay, this is the GISC Seoul web portal system. I'm in now in GISC Seoul. I would like to access KMA Satellite Center DCPC. DCPC, MSCC. Okay. But you can see the login again. But what I'm saying is because, okay, I log in again. But I don't need to type again my name and what's wrong? Let me try again. Sorry.
Maybe two different browsers.
Yeah. I just log in. Okay, I log in here.
Just open another tab. Another tab.
Where? This one?
Yes, open another tab.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, this one. it's automatically login. So it means that the single sign-on. So what I'm saying is, if I log in already in GISC, I don't need to log in again in DCPC. So it's automatically login process. So what I'm saying is, this is very important in especially GISC and the DCPC if the center is in the same area of responsibility, you know. So as I understand, the DCPC, the Qatar would be in the South GISC JIDA. So if I access the GISC JIDA, and I don't need to log in again if I want to access in the DCPC Qatar. So there is the concept of a single sign-on. Yeah. Also, the other issue is managing user session, login, logout, check if the session is valid, and user management, and creating, delete, and modifying and maintenance user ID and information. And also data policy management is important. So all those functionality should be implemented in software, with the software. Yeah. Let me say the management. User management means that the personal information, management personal information, and the privilege and profile and group. So privilege means that it's concerned of it's kind of authorization, what privilege that I have now. Yeah. Also, the user can define the FTP IP address and email address. So the FTP IP address and email address is very important because if I want to subscribe some data, and if I want to get the data with the FTP that I defined will be used for data FTP dissemination and data email, so Gmail dissemination with email. Also the backup. The backup is kind of an additional item in the DCPC because I just inserted the backup line because in some sense DCPC is the backup of DCPC is very important in some sense. But okay, yeah. If the DCPC has the backup disk, also the user data and information should be shared with the backup center. Also, the user registration, the self-registration, normal registration, and upgrade of rights on request fail. Okay, this is the example of GISC DCPC National Meteorological Satellite Center. We we splitted the user profile list like that. The four of user profile list that KMA now have. The first one is administrator, and the operator, editor, and user. So administrator is just administrator. He can control user, and he can control anything in the National Meteorological Satellite DCPC. The operator is operator. So editor is the metadata editor. If I want to insert and if I want to create the metadata, I have to have the privilege to edit the metadata. So I can ask the administrator for me to categorize the editor privilege. So I can edit the metadata if I have the privilege of editor. So those three is the manager group, and the other one is user group. Yeah. So the KMA, the specialized, the categorized four of user profile list. The other one is the group list. We can the categorized with some grouping. MSC editor, and operator group, and user group, and also the GISC Seoul user group, and the National Center user group. I'll show you some example. This one. So the reason that we categorized this group is for the authorization. This one, authorization data policy according to group. So we can define the authorization based on this grouping. But this is the example in the DCPC NMSC in KMA. So in case of a national center user, the national center user can view the data and DAA catalog and also download can download the data. But we didn't click this one because the user has not to edit any metadata. So user is just a user. So user can view the data and download but cannot edit this one. Okay. So in case of a disk editor, is something wrong this one. Sorry. Yeah, disk source editor should be checked here. This is some mistake here. Yeah, I'm sorry. Should be checked here, editing. Okay. So if I log in first stage, I can have the privilege like default privilege. So if I just registered in NMSC DCPC, I have just the default privilege like just I can view the data and I can view the metadata. Yeah, that is the authorization for data access for the default user in case of DCPC NMSC. I'll show you some example about that. So if I access the National Center DCPC NMSC, and I would like to register as a user in DCPC. So I access this register, and then I filled out this box. Last name, my last name is Hong, and first name is Songhui. So because this example, Songhui 12. Contact email is Songhui gmail.com, and the password is 225 and 2725. And it's very important. It's very difficult. 70. Okay, register. Okay, username. Let me see. It already exists.
You're not restricting the name like a name or something.
I'm not sure.
This is not being a first name.
Yeah, right. There's no username.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You can only use username.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Maybe you'll find the username later.
Yes. Let me try. So I need to check what is the username here. No. So I need to check what is the username. So let me say again. Just if I access the GCPC and the GCPC and WIS Center, but if I don't have any privilege and authorization to get the data, but if I ask the download data, you can see this one, access denied, because I don't have any privilege to download the data. I just have the privilege to watch the data and just to see the DAA catalog in this website. So yeah, access denied here if I don't have any privilege. Okay. So data request and data subscription here also. I can the I can request data to the download and see the data in ad hoc request just after discovery, and also I can choose the dissemination approach if I want to get the data by email in the regularly, or if I want to get the data with FTP. So when I log in the data, when I want to get the data and like the subscription data, okay, we can use this FTP and email address. So okay, the data subscription here. So we can define the period of delivery and also choice of dissemination way, like mentioned by me, HTTP or the email or FTP. I can choose this method that I want to get the data. Okay, this one. If I find some data here, I can request this data. This is the ad hoc request in the center. So I can define the data from, let me see, from today today is 29, January 29th. So the time I can define here through this and next, and save. Okay, here, find to match data, and I can download this data here. So I can find the data here. If I want to click this one, yeah, you can see the data here. That's, this is the data that I want to here. But this is another approach that I want to get this data, you know, close. If I want to get the data regularly, I can ask the subscription here. Subscribe, full disk, or I can choose. So on product arrival, it means that I want to get the data on product arrival. If the data is produced just right after the data production, I wanna get the data, right? But recurrent processing, so it means that I want to get the data from here. So today is 29, so from 002. So recurrent period is, so I want data every 1 hour here. So the data, this system will check every 1 hour if the data is there, is here. So if the data is there, the system can automatically send me. Okay. that is the subscription. And next, let's save it. Okay, my request is applied here. So when I, sorry, save, okay. And when I registered my account, I defined my email address, check my request, okay. This one start. This is my track my request. I can track my request. So I applied, I asked this product, and this is my subscription ID, and the starting date is that. So because there's no the data now, so okay. So this is my personal information. My name is Hong Hui. So this is my email address. So I can get my data with this email. I defined my email when I registered this website. Yeah. Okay. So in this morning, I was trying to show you some example and demonstration and the basic concept about the data and data management. But I'm sorry, some happening during my login process. So, but I think that you can understand what the data and data management here. So, okay, thank you.
I think it was very nice to see how one can log in into a system and there then edit the metadata record and also how to configure data subscription,
Yes.
which is very convenient. Now, yes, please questions.
Mm. The backup policy. So firstly, I want to define the backup again. You know, the DCPC has can have two disks. You know, the first one is the primary disk, and the other one is the secondary disk. So the backup means the secondary disk in case of DCPC. Also, the other definition of the backup means that the self backup. I mean, this is the DCPC, and the other, the same, the mirroring. It's not a mirroring. That is the same pairs here. So, okay. The backup is the same set, data. Yeah, right. Whole data. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. So, you know, because even though the physically separated, the data sources may be one. So this source data can be copied to the first primary DCPC, and also the secondary, the backup DCPC can like this, you know. Yeah. No, it's not. How would I say? I'd like to. Uh, I think we can. Okay. This is the primary GCPC. This is the backup. So clearly, data source is here. Right, GCPC data. We are talking about the GCPC. So those data is web application system is here. That is the, it's kind of the bridge system to get the data from the data source. So we can, the data is here. Yeah. Yep. Right. Right. Because I'm owner of the data. Right. So this data can be serviced here, the web portal. Here. This is the internet. But also the data is here. Is so one of the possible approaches active and active. So all those data sources just one, but this data is completely serviced here. But the regularly the data is refreshed to the backup side. So this data is completely here. Yeah, this is my concept. This is my implementation in KMA. Yeah. So in case of KMA, this data source is located in the KMA headquarters. Not KMA headquarters, not in the National Meteorological Satellite Center. Satellite Center here. But this backup is located in KMA headquarters. Yeah. Yeah. Standby. Yeah, we can make that, we can name. Yeah. Yeah. Copy. Yeah. Right. One data source. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Now, you said that when you create users, when you create the user base, each user will have same access to the another DCBC.
In GISC?
Yeah.
With the GISC?
So you created one instance.
Mm-hmm.
With 10 users.
Yep.
You can get the data also directly. You can log in directly to DCBC.
Right.
With all the same DCBC.
Yeah. That is the single sign-on concept. So we have in case of
In case you don't like to give them access to all DCBC.
no, it depends. But I'd like to say you in case of KMA, there's a domestic disk server we have. We have DCPC National Center, Meteorological Satellite Center. Also DCPC Agricultural Center. We have another DCPC here. Also the National Center. But those area is a single sign-on area. So if I log in here, or if I log in here, I don't need to log in again when I access this web portal system. Same system. Yeah.
You say that the user privilege. Maybe there are different privileges from this DCPC and this how you control this? Yeah, like you will give this user, okay, he logs into this, only you like him to see the DCPC WAS.
Yeah, WAMIS.
It's like an access measurement center and DCPC. There's privilege in the user side.
I understand what you're saying.
Presentation.
Okay, I understand.
Privilege, I got it. I mean about the DCPC.
Yeah.
You're not structuring to give him access to this DCPC and maybe not just CCTV yet.
Maybe we're getting a bit distracted here, because obviously the single sign-on makes a lot of sense in the Korean context, because they have the GIS and also GCPCs. Now, a GCPC in another country, of course, could also be part of the single sign-on domain, but it could also not. And that depends very much on what kind of infrastructure you have in the case. I think what was very good, the single sign-on is very modern, and I think maybe the WIS in 10 years will have such a thing where there's, for the whole WMO, one single sign-on, you can get in everywhere. So you're showing the future here. Now, for the basics, what we've seen here that's very nice is we can log into the GIS and consider a subscription, and you can log in and edit metadata there. Very convenient, and no software installation needed on the ground. And yet, then if you have quite a lot of keys in one country, for example, with the single sign-on, we can have a convenient system to manage the OpenJet. But don't get so worried about this here now, because for you it will be first, anyway, from our steps that are subject to manage.
First for thinking of the course. Not being problem with the container different resource. Any related activities will stop.
Yeah, of course, I think we can trust here in our Korean colleagues to operate properly, but you're right. When you have a single sign-on or some domain issues, then there are dependencies. Also, in the GIS specification and the WIS specifications, have yesterday mentioned briefly that there was one specification that supposed there would be a single sign-on across all the GIS, but then people felt if that was too advanced, that they didn't want dependencies or sharing so much of information. So now here is a bottom-up initiative saying, if you want, you can have this, and I think that way we will eventually converge to more sharing. We can do it at a pace that is well aligned with people.
I'm not sure my talk is proper to you, but I want to just 1 minute. If I log in here as a A user, if I have some the privilege in DCPC and MSCC, can download some data here. I have some privilege here, but maybe I may not get the same privilege here. Yeah, because that is the role of DCPC WAMIX. It's not the role of DCPC and MSCC. Okay. So, like mentioned by me, there are two the procedure. The first one is how can I say? Thank you. The first one is authentication. No? The other one is authorization. So even though the the user is authenticated, A is A, but the A user is not authorized in this web portal system to get the data. Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
user role definition, you have not mentioned this role for GCPC needs to be this role for user.
Right. Yeah.
General user roles.
Yeah. Every single GCPC can define the user role.
Okay.
Am I correct?
How many times you need to download the data? How many times?
But now there's no limitation now. But we can add some blank list. We can manage some blank list. Like some user tried to get download more than 100 times in a day. So we can we can make some blank list. So if the user is defined as blank list, we can make some block. Yeah. So now we don't have any limitation restriction. Now we don't have.
I mean the private data, like you download, you select,
Yeah.
you can save it and check it, use it,
Mm-hmm.
only
Yeah.
restriction at all.
Not now. Not now.
How many registered users now in your website?
We are not. I'm sorry, but we are not now operational. Yeah, we are going to start operation March this year. Yeah, February, maybe next 2 week. I'm going to send a formal letter to WMO. The KMA will start the WIS center. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Good. Thank you again.
Thank you.